Okay? Hari Om. Is it all right?
Yes, uncle.
Okay. See, whenever you buy any instrument, even a car or even an ordinary mobile, laptop, TV, you get a book. It's called handbook or key book, which gives you instructions how to use it. Similarly, we have books about all outside things. We need to have book how to get the best out of us, because we, though apparently seem to be one, have got 4 dimensions: the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. When all these 4 are in harmony, the experience that you get is peaceful, happy. So, how to bring them into harmony? You need a handbook. These handbooks are called Vedas. But in the Vedas, it's too large. There are several other things also in that. Because Veda means the book of knowledge. It has many things. But precisely the spiritual knowledge is in Upanishads. Upanishads can't be followed by everyone. They are terse, T-E-R-S-E, subtle, intuitive. Hence, Vyasa, out of compassion, brought the same essence of the Upanishads in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads. Second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. They put it like that because some people may not survive and go beyond the first 2 chapters, 3rd chapter, 4th, they may drop down. So they give the complete essence in the beginning itself. Second chapter is the beginning, is the essence of all that we have to know about ourselves, our life, outside world, God, how to keep in harmony within ourselves, how to keep in harmony with the outside world, how to keep in tune with God. This entire process is called yoga. Yoga means aligning with, joining with. So we have 18 yogas, 18 ways, different ways of connecting to God. And in that, the second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga. Connecting to God through logic, Sankhya Yoga. Here we have been told that what you are seeking, perfection, freedom from death and sorrow, they have not to be gained through action, procuring, reforming, modifying, producing, etc., etc., etc. Because it is you who is already there, you are ever perfect, you are immortal, you are blissful. Therefore, nothing to be done to you. But there are certain things obstructing this clear experience. They are your subconscious mind. This subconscious mind has to be thinned down and detached so that you can clearly experience that immortal, blissful, conscious existence that you are. And that is mainly at the physical level, karma yoga, at the emotional level, bhakti yoga, at the intellectual level, jnana yoga and dhyana yoga. So here, with reference to this purifying the obstructions, reducing these impressions called vasanas, reducing these vasanas, the first step for a man who is too agitated, too attached, is through karma yoga. So Bhagavan Vyasa started with saying that you are confused because you see the problem from the standpoint of the ego. When you see the reality, your problem itself does not exist because your problem is fear of death. The real you has no death. He gave various logics about that. And then he said, now how to experience this and maintain this and with this knowledge work outside. That is the karma yoga he has done. And what is the culmination of this karma yoga? Your confusions are gone. You become steady in your wisdom, which is called sthita prajna. That portion is the essence of all the teaching, where it's a complete summary. It gives us the various techniques, karma, bhakti, jnana, jnana, etc. All techniques are given in these 18 verses. It completely deals in that such a short span of 18 verses. How the problem comes, how to remove the problem, how to manage the mind and transcend the mind. What is the benefit of this transcendence? What is the ultimate gain that you gain? After gaining which, how do you move? All these are the subject matters of this Sthita Prajna portion. As I said last week, this is one of the best poetries in all world literatures because it in that short span gives us the entire philosophy. Also, a few examples taken there are very unique. You don't find them anywhere else. Very effective, very unique. So, in that we started first with Arjuna's question. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. What is the definition of this man of wisdom? Samadhihi tasya keshava. What is this nature of that steady wisdom? Sthitadi kim prabhaseta. How does he talk? Kim asita. How does he sit? Kim rajeta. How does he move? That Krishna started answering. He cannot directly answer because the question is irrelevant. We are talking about the self. And we don't talk about how he walks, how he talks when we talk about the self. But Arjuna had something in mind. He's not a fool. He wanted to recognize some people through their expressions. How do they move in the outside world when they meet the challenges? When they are with themselves, how do they receive these challenges? Those are the implications of what he asked. Mainly, firstly, he asked the definition. So the best definition was given. Prajahati yada kamam sarvam partha manogatam atmanayeva atmana tustaha sthita prajnasta docchati. What is the cause of our disturbance? The cause of our disturbance is our desire. Please note this. We think that we have more desires, we'll be more happy. Happiness is already there in you. It is covered, disturbed by the desires. Why do we get the desires? Because we feel we are incomplete. Why do you feel we are incomplete? Because we do not know that we are the self. Ignorance of the self breeds desires at the intellectual level, and then agitations at the emotional level, and actions at the physical level. So when he says, this person casts off all desires born out of imagination, what he means is, he has found the fullness in himself. He doesn't anymore have the sense of inadequacy because of which you have desires and agitations. That is the definition of a Sthita Prajna. After definition, now he says, when he meets the challenges, how does he receive them? Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigataspruha, vita raga bhaya krodha, sthitatihi munirichyate. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. When sorrow comes, it is allowed a little agitation. When somebody close to us pass away at a premature age, it is natural to be sad. But we have to bounce back to our real nature with the knowledge. These tragedies, these things happen because each one has a different GPS, route map to their evolution. They are all handled by God. So we do not question the wisdom of God. And everybody is monitored by all loving, all compassionate, all knowing God. Hence, nothing ever goes wrong. So we leave it to Him and come back to our balance and start working. So therefore, he says, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. He doesn't say you do not get depressed. Anudvigna manaha, continuously lost in that. Sukheshu vigataspruha. Happy news comes, don't get lost again in that excited, because next dukkha is waiting. You know, now you are in your drawing room. You are talking with Mr. Sukha, and dukkha has come. He is waiting for Sukha to leave. If he doesn't leave long, Sukha will come and butt in, and dukkha will come and butt in, and Sukha will leave. Dukkha, when you are talking, Sukha comes and waits outside. This is the nature of life. They come in procession. 1 minute this, next minute that. Without dukkha, you will not be knowing Sukha. Without Sukha, you will not be knowing dukkha. They are two sides of the same coin. And they belong to the body, mind, intellect. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect. You are the one who sees them. They are all seen. They come and go. You are the one who sees them. You have none of those things in you. Keep this identity. Allow things to pass on. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. Sukheshu vigataspruha. Vita raga bhaya krodha. Sthitatihi munirichyate. These three words come often in Gita. Raga bhaya krodha. When you have a desire and you get it, you have attachment, raga. Attachment is I plus I want. I as a body, I want this, I want that. That's together is attachment. And when you get it, you have attachment. And when you get it, you have fear of losing it, bhaya. When there is an obstruction to getting, krodha. So those three are not independent. Raga, bhaya, krodha. They are all the offshoots of ignorance, of desire, which is a product of ignorance. A man who has got the knowledge of the self never thinks he is the body, mind, intellect, doesn't come under the influence of ignorance, hence no fear, no attachment, and no anger. Naturally, the mind is peaceful. And now, when he is moving, he encounters certain pleasant experiences, certain unpleasant experiences. How does he face them? Next to us. Sukesh yes sarvatra nabhisneha tattat prapya shubha shubham nabhinandati nadvesti tasya prajna pratisthita yaha, whoever he may be. This is a universal pronoun peculiar to Sanskrit alone. In all other languages, you have pronoun for first person, singular person, second person, and third person. But in Sanskrit, you have a universal pronoun applying to anybody. That is called yaha. Sarvatra, all times, everywhere. Anabhisneha, without attachment. Tat tat prapya, when the corresponding things, shubha ashubham comes. Pleasant, unpleasant. Good and evil experiences come. Na abhinandati, na dvesti. He doesn't get excited nor hates, because he has the knowledge that I get these experiences for my evolution, like the doctor gives me sometimes sweet pill, sometimes good pill. He accepts them as Bhagavan's prasada, and therefore he is not affected by them. Yet Nabhinandati nadvesti. He doesn't get elated nor depressed. And such a person, wisdom is steady. That's the prajna. In Ramayana, this particular scene is emphasized by all the speakers. Rama was called and told, you are going to be coronated tomorrow morning. In the next 1 hour, he has been called and said, you have to go to the forest for 14 years. The description is, there was no elation when he was told he is going to be coronated tomorrow. There was no depression when he was said, you have to leave to the forest. This is a beautiful example of Rama in Ramayana, how the wise man doesn't get elated or depressed or apparently good and bad or pleasant and unpleasant experiences encounter us. And then he has given 2 examples. On himself, when dukkha sukha comes, how he is. When he is moving, when he counters good and evil experience, how we move. Now, when you move, sometimes you may be indifferent to good and bad, but sometimes there will be certain happenings which are detrimental to your peace, which agitate you. What shall you do? I told you there are a few examples in this which are extraordinary and unique. This is one of the examples. Yada samharate chayam urmongani vasarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyaha tasya prajna pratisthita. A tortoise can move in water and also can move on land. An enlightened man can be with himself can also move outside like a tortoise. But the tortoise, when it moves inland, sometimes the children may throw stones. It may sense some danger. It immediately withdraws all its 6 legs unto the shell and be protected by the shell. So this Jnani also, when he is moving, if he sees something not conducive to his balance, he withdraws the mind from these antennas, 5 senses. The 5 senses, even if they see, cannot receive the stimuli without the mind fixed to it. And when he is moving, when he sees or hears, he withdraws the mind and the senses become ineffective. And like the tortoise is protected by the shell, this mind, this man is protected by the self. Yatha samharate chayam purmongani sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya prajna pratisthita. Withdraw the mind from the tempting, disastrous objects that you encounter when you are moving in the world outside. This is my experience. When in childhood or youth or this thing, you have been in company who talk loosely, who gossip, talk all sorts of things. You have nothing to do with that. But now and then, because of association, those thoughts come to you. So better be protected from that company itself. Choose your company. Only satsangam. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Nissangatve nirmohatvam. What is satsangam? People who always talk, live in goodness. People who talk good things, who have good values, who live good life, who has only love for all. They don't gossip. Try to avoid sensuous company. Do not say, it won't affect me. You cannot say that you will take poison and it won't affect you, or you will touch fire and it won't burn you. Let us be careful. And the example given is like the tortoise. And then he says, when you practice like that, what happens? Vishaya vinivartante yaraharasya dehinaha tasavajjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. When you practice like that, Vishaya vinivartante, sense object recedes. When you fast to them, niraharasya dehina, rasavarjam, but a little taste will be there. Rasopi, even the taste, param društva nivartate, when you have experienced the higher bliss, that will also go. Initially, you have to withdraw. Initially, you have to abstain. When you do that, the sense objects, to a large extent, will recede from you, leaving a little taste. But when you are going on increasing your awareness of the self, that also, when you have a clear experience of the self, drop down. Gurudev gives an example. Supposing somebody is addicted to liquor. When anybody comes to his home from abroad or from anywhere, he will get him a bottle of liquor because he knows his friend likes that. And one time somebody brought, this man said, I stopped taking liquor. From that time onwards, nobody brings in liquor. So when you have stopped, those objects also don't come to you. They withdraw because nobody will give you. Same thing with cigarettes. They will be giving you cartons when you are smoking. When you say I stop, nobody will give you. But a little taste will be there. That also, when you increase your awareness and alignment with the self, the blissful one will drop down. So this is the technique of sense management. The first was withdrawal. Second is what happens when you withdraw. So this is sense management. And then now he says, Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathyani ranti prasabham manaha. The importance and the danger of the senses is emphasized here. Vipaschitaha, even an intelligent man, not ordinary people, even an intelligent man, vipaschitaha, yatato hi api, even though sincerely striving, Kaunteya, son of Kunti, Purushasya, of this man, Indriyani Pramadini, the senses are turbulent. The senses are turbulent. And they haranti prasabam mana. They loot your mind. Even, what to talk of an ordinary man, even a wise man, intelligent man, these senses are so turbulent that they drift his mind away. Why is he saying this such depressing? To warn you, you have to be careful. Don't take things for granted. Why should I not take things for granted or even control? Life is meant to enjoy. Life is meant to enjoy. Definitely, God has given you that. But sir, you are not enjoying, sir. Objects are enjoying you, sir. You are not enjoying the world. The world is enjoying you. Objects are enjoying you. People do not die for want of food. That's a rare case. Most people die because of excessive food. People die because of excessive sense indulgence. Food, liquor, smoking, all these things. So you think sense enjoyment is meant for a happy life? No, sir. All your worries are for these things because when you don't have, you are agitated. When you gain them, you are agitated, you will lose them. When you lost them, you have regrets. Never, never, never a mind tuned to the senses can ever be peaceful. And that in the initial stages, having been attached to that for long, is not so easy to get away. Be careful. Okay, I'll be careful. But give me some tips how to manage this, because you yourself say, even for a wise man, it is too difficult. And we are all ordinary people. Just by saying it is difficult, how are we going to be saved? Now in the next two verses, he gives the beautiful ladder of fall. How you come to the last stage of your evolution from the top. You must have all seen that chart, snake and ladder. Through the ladder, you go to the top. Buss. Finally, through the snake, you come to the bottom. How you come down is the ladder of fall. I told you there are a few examples unique. One was the tortoise. Next is this ladder of fall. Let us see that. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangatseshu Pajayate. Oh, sorry. In between there is one verse. Tani Sarvani Samyamya Yukta Asita Matparaha Vashehi Yasyendriyani Tasya Prajna Pratisthita. So the senses are turbulent even for a wise man. So how does he control? Matparaha, keeping me as the goal. What is me? Not Krishna. Me, the ultimate happiness, ultimate security. Keeping that in mind, knowing these are obstacles. Matparaha. So keep that in mind, and then you will be successful in your self-control. And then, so he said, these senses are turbulent, disastrous. How to control? Matparaha, tune to me. Okay, how do I fall first? Tell me that so that I may prevent. He gives the ladder of fall. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangatseshu Pajayate Sangat Samjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Bhramshat Buddhi Nasha Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati Buddhinashat pranashyati. Dhyayataha. Dhyana, you know, is contemplation. What is contemplation? Continuously thinking of a particular line. A line of thinking is called contemplation. Thinking about anything continuously is called contemplation. Now you think of an object continuously. It is contemplation of the object. When you do that, what happens? You want to possess it. Supposing you were walking on the shopping arcade, mall or bazaar. You may see several things. You just appreciate and move. They won't bother you. You stop seeing it and then you want to know one more information. What is this? Where it is made? What is the price? The shopman will see you come in and he throws that on your head and you come back. Simple curiosity is enough. You just saw, you say beautiful and go. Even with persons, you see somebody, say he seems to be nice person, seems to be good person, beautiful person, leave. You think second time, third time. Second time is enough. Second time you think, it will lead to the third, it will lead to the fourth. Finally, like a ball that is left on the staircase, you catch it at the first step, you can catch it. You allow it to go to the second step, you cannot catch it. Same thing with our thoughts. The moment they rise, you arrest them. You can save yourself. You do not arrest them. They finally see that you are a miserable, third-rate scum. You are worse than a worm. It will bring you to that stage. I do not know how many of you have seen people who are drunk. They do not know their dress falling off. They are falling down. Such a pitiable state, they do not know. Very highly educated people, highly rich people, why do they have to go down to this level? Because of the addiction. The addiction doesn't come overnight. Addiction comes continuous thinking. And that is why all our friends will give the first drink or first cigarette free. Because once you take it, you will go for the second, third. You will keep their company and you will buy them also many a time. Therefore, they give you the first one free. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Utsaha of this man. Dhyayataha, continuously thinking. Kama, desire for those objects. Vishayan Pumsaha. Sangaha Teshu Upajayati. Attachment comes to them. Attachment. Attachment is I want it. Without it, I am not complete. I want it. Without it, I am not complete. This I plus I want is attachment. Feeling incomplete without it. Total dependence. That's called attachment. Dhyayato Vishayan Putsa. Sangaha Teshu Upajayate. Attachment to them comes. Sangat Samjayate Kamaha. Through the attachment to that, you get desire. Kama Krodho Vijayate. When you desire a thing, you don't get it, you get anger. Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. An angry man loses his sense of proportion, his clarity. He gets deluded. And in that delusion, confusion, he loses all memory of all the good values that he had so far. He even forgets the relationship. He does not know whether he is talking to his teacher or father, husband to wife, wife to husband. They completely lose their balance, forget the relationship, and talk all sorts of things. Sammohat smriti vipramaha. Through this delusion, loss of memory of all values and relationships. Sruti bhramshat buddhi nashaha. And when this memory has gone, the discriminative power has gone. Discriminative power, the intellect, sustains through the memory of all the knowledge and values that you gather. Sruti bhramshat buddhi nasha. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. When you have lost the sense of discrimination, you have become worse than animal. Because the difference between you and an animal is discrimination. You feel like easing yourself. You will not ease on the road. You will control and go home and do it. A dog, when it sees a wall or a car's tire, it will ease there itself. That is the difference between an animal and you. Because the dog doesn't have the discrimination. You are supposed to have it. When you don't have that discrimination, you are behaving like an animal without discrimination. So your fall is complete. Right? So that is the ladder of fall. And so what you should do, how you should move in the world, is giving another beautiful clue. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu Vishayanindriyecharan Atma Vashyai Videyatma Prasadamadi. Because it is said, objects are dangerous. Can you stop moving? You have to move in the world. You are in the office. Different people have different ways of living. You can't avoid. You have to be in the move. And in moving, you will encounter various opposite experiences. You can't avoid. What will you do? Raga, dvesha, viyuktaistu. Vishayan, indriyais, charan. When you are moving in the world of objects, when you are moving in the world of objects with the senses, you move without attachment and aversion. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. When you are getting a greater happiness, where is that? Atma Vashyer Videy Atma. You continuously remember this self in you, this God in you, this bliss in you. Tune to that. Be under its safe custody and remind yourself, this is beautiful, this is permanent, this is blissful. My trying to get attached to the outside object is disastrous because I will move out of this. With this knowledge, with this attunement, with this alignment, move in the outside world free from attachments and aversion. See how beautifully they don't just say some statement without giving a technique. They say a statement, they give the logic, they give the technique. A statement is made, logic is given, a technique is given. This is the way of teaching. Statement is called Shruti, time-tested statements. Logic is called Yukti, Anubhava, the way to experience that. The technique, Anubhava. So in any spiritual knowledge, these are three important factors. Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. They give in every portion they are dealing with. Here also, we have been told the dangers of sense involvement. We have been given the logic. Now we have been given also the technique. Keep yourself aligned to that blissful self, under its sway, moving in the world outside. Do not come under attachment and aversion. Beautiful. He said there, when you move there, prasada madhigacchati, you shall gain peace. You are moving. There are contrary experiences. But when you are under the safe custody of the self, you will gain peace. What is this peace? Why do I need it? Can't I get this from enjoyment of the outside world? How does it help? That is given in the next one or two slokas. Prasade sarva dukkhanam anirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso vyashuhu buddhi paryavatisthate. Prasade, in this quiet mind, sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. All your sorrows are erased. Because the mind is quiet, it's clear, it's not confused, and therefore majority of the sorrows are wiped out because they are all born out of confusion. So, prasanna chetasaha, such a pleasant mind, calm, quiet mind, buddhihi parhi, his intellect, Aryavatishtate, becomes steady. So this prasada, that is this symbolism of getting prasada in the temple. After the puja, you gain peace. After the puja, you gain peace. So that peace is represented by the prasada they give. And when they give the prasada, you don't question. Little salt is more, salt is less. You close your eyes and take it. Same thing. When you move in the outside world, pleasant and unpleasant experience, you take it as his prasada. And such a man's wisdom is steady. Indriya anam hicharatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasi tadasya harati pragnam vayurnavamipambhasi. Oh, sorry, one more. Nasti buddhirayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutasukam. Ayuktasya, yukta means one who is integrated, one who is integrated. Means mind under the control of the intellect, together under the influence of the self. That's called yoga. That is called yukta. Ayuktasya, one who is not integrated, one whose mind is not under the influence of the intellect and the self, he cannot meditate. Buddhihi, he has no discrimination for this ayukta, and also no, he cannot meditate. Nasti buddhihi ayuktasya nacha tasya bhavana. No discrimination, no meditation. Nacha abhavayataha. One who has no mind doesn't rest in meditation. Nacha bhavayata shanti. There is no peace. And if there is no peace, there is no comfort. You may have all the best of things in your house. Centrally air-conditioned house. Double bed. Imported cushions. Every room has a fridge with all beautiful chocolates. You can't sleep, sir, if your mind is restless. If your mind is peaceful, you can sleep on the road. So without peace, you can't enjoy comforts. Tyagaraja sang this. Shantamuleka saukhyamulir. Without peace, there is no comfort at all. So this peace is taken away when your mind doesn't settle in meditation or has discrimination, because it is not integrated, means it's not tuned to the self. Indriyanam hicharatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragnam vayurnavamibhambasi. And then now he says, say you are moving on the bazaar or mall or anywhere. Your eyes see, but your mind doesn't flow through them. Mind is elsewhere. Those objects cannot attract. If the mind follows the senses, then you become a victim. If the mind doesn't follow the senses, you, in spite of these perceptions, you do not ruin yourself. Because senses, eyes by themselves, without the mind functioning through them, cannot see. Ears cannot hear without the mind. Many a times you must have seen this. Somebody passes before you. You have not noticed because your mind is elsewhere. Somebody said something you didn't hear because the mind is elsewhere. So if these things should not disturb you, shift your mind from perceptions to the perceiver, the self. Shift your mind from perceptions to the perceiver, the self. Then the senses become ineffective. Indriyanam hicharatam yanmanonu vidhiyate tadasya harati pragnam vayurnavamibhambasi. The person whose mind is lost in the senses, follows the senses, is like a boat drifted away by winds. He is like a boat drifted away by the winds. Right? Therefore, control the senses. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigruhitani sarvashaha indriyani indriyakebhyaha tasya prajna pratisthita. Tasmad, you must have seen in this Sankhya Yoga, he gives the logic, and after a few verses, yes, tasmad, therefore. That's why this chapter is called Chapter of Logic, Sankhya. So here also, he has given the entire mechanism of the sense control, sense management, and sense transcendence. Mind control, mind management, mind transcendence. He has given the complete scheme. Having given that, he says, Tasmat, therefore, Mahabaho, mighty arm, Nigrihitani Sarvashaha, having controlled from all directions, Indriyani, Indriyarthepya, the senses from the sense objects, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita, his wisdom is steady. Mahabaho, this word is important here. Mahabaho, man with mighty arms. Your physical valor is no valor. Trying to kill a few people if you can't control your own mind. Therefore, your real Mahabaho, your real strength should be in controlling your mind. If you don't do that, you are lost. Now, one more extraordinary example. You will get two here, two more lovely examples. This is very, very, very beautiful. Sir, in this life, we have several challenges, several crises. Small, paltry sense enjoyments that they give us relief. You say you do not go after them. How do we live, sir? Is it practical, sir? We go mad because life is like that. Where do we get our relief? Where do we get our joy, happiness? Beautiful example. You are asking this question because you do not know the real happiness is in you. And because you do not know that, you are lost in this paltry, destructive sense enjoyments, thinking that that is happiness. A man who knows this is not tempted by the senses. A man who is attuned to the senses will not be tuned to this. Both cannot go simultaneously. You cannot be with the self which is inside and be with the senses which are extrovert. You can either be introvert or extrovert. You cannot simultaneously be an introvert or an extrovert. You cannot be a waker and a dreamer simultaneously. Either you are sensuous or you are fulfilled in the bliss of the Atman. So, when you have controlled all your senses, you are not in a vacuum. You are not in distress. You are not in boredom. You enjoy infinite happiness, total happiness. The man who is awake to this happiness sleeps to the experiences of an ignorant man. The man who is awake to the experiences of an ignorant man sleeps to this blissful self. That is given in the next example. Yanisha sarva bhutana tasyam jagati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato mune. Yanisha sarva bhutana, that which is night to all beings. Tasyam jagrati samyami, the self-controlled man is awake in that night. That which is night to the ignorant people, is in that he is awake. Yasyam jagrati bhutani. That day where they are all awake, the sensuous people, in that this enlightened man sees darkness, night. He is not aware of that. He is not awake to that experience. What is night to others is day to him. What is day to him is night to others. Swamiji used to humorously say, then I should become a night watchman. That is not the meaning. The meaning is what he sees, you don't see. What you see, he doesn't see. That is all. And that, what is that state? You are talking so gloriously that once you see that, you become indifferent to senses. A sensuous man cannot see it. What is that glorious state? He gives another example, which is extraordinary again. Apuryamanam achala pratistham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve shashanti mapnoti nakamakami. You know, you are seeing floods everywhere. A floods means trillions of gallons entering. Even normally without floods, rivers like Brahmaputra, Amazon, they are almost like seas. Every minute, gallons and gallons are entering into the ocean. Ocean keeps its level. It's not elated because it is full. It is not elated by the entry of this. It is full. And sometimes there is no rain. There's some disturbance.
Yes, please mute yourself. Hari Om.
Amma?
Yes, there is a disturbance. Hari Om.
Yes.
Yes, Rajni Kirti ji, can you please mute yourself? Mic is on. Yeah.
Okay. Right? So, gallons and gallons enter. The ocean doesn't rise. Sometimes there is no rain. Rivers are dry. The ocean doesn't go down. So also, this man who is enjoying the fullness of his self, when impulses or sense stimuli enters him, he is not elated. When they do not, he is not depressed. He is full in himself, like the ocean. That's a lovely example. Having given that, next 2 verses, he is completing the second chapter, which will take only 10 minutes, but it is already time, so that I am not taking them now, though they need only 10 minutes. Next class, I will complete them in 10 minutes and take the 3rd chapter of Gita. If you all want, if you feel second chapter is enough, let me know. I do not mind. It's all left to you. You say, for us, second chapter is enough. You let me know. If you want to know, learn further, we will do the 3rd chapter next, having done these 2 verses of the second chapter. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay.
Harihi Om.